Kyle, you have received a message. Now, look, the thing is, I don't know how to do lawyer talk. So if anything sounds incriminating in this message, it's actually steeped in mafioso talk that would not hold up in court.
Okay.
But it is from the Lakata and says something along the lines of, I expect literally nothing from you, and you have already failed me. Seth Ghostbear is snooping around our other operations. At first, I appeared because I thought he might be looking to call in his favor, that we owe him for taking a fall. However, he was aggressive and hostile and was looking at my men as if he was ready to eat them. So we need you to get everything under control. I need you to understand that our operations within Apex Dragons are above board and completely legal, and that is an investment we want to see succeed now and in the future. And that cleaning up your previous messes is the kind of extreme behavior we reserve only for those who fail completely and utterly. You may not have been in the life like Ivan, but you should know, as an associate, we expect you to die trying to clean up your own problems. So if you need to die trying to solve this one, then I look forward to laying a beautiful wreath on your grave. Fix this. Sincerely, Nia Lakata. And it's, signed. It's an electronic message in the 80s, but still, It's got an ASCII signature in cursive. It's beautifully done. They really don't use cursive 1,000 years in the future. It's a lost and forgotten art, but from what Spoon just sent me, I've determined that literally no one knows how to spell Nia's name. So just because...
Let me pull up my notes. I'll tell you how I spelled it.
I just spelled it phonetically.
Yes,
so.
Nealicata. Just because I know we have some shrimps out there that occasionally like fan art of women who will destroy members of the stable. You also have an outstanding meeting request from Ro to talk with you, and you have an outstanding request from Saya to be detached from duty next week in order to attend a mech race as one of the racers for Phoenix Mech Sports via Trace Billings.
Okay. Ro wants to meet,
and it sounds like Seth Ghostbear would like to meet with you as well. Otherwise, he wouldn't be on my goddamn screen right now.
I totally forgot about that favor thing. that even existed. Yeah. About my that I took a dive.
Ro wants to meet.
That was what was going on yesterday, and then you were really weird during the lunch, and I was like, "Fuck, I don't know what's going on at this point, man."
Ro wants to meet. Trace Billings wants to release for Saya, and who else wanted to meet me?
Spoon right now.
Yeah.
So Seth Morgan seems to want to meet with you. I don't know if he's prowling around outside your office or if he summoned you, but given the fact that he's on our computer screens right now,
it's probably just like a message to meet him in his office at the stable.
Oh, you want to meet specifically at the stable? Because otherwise, Seth would have an open invitation to meet me in the office I have set up in my penthouse.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he trusts the penthouse isn't bugged.
Okay. Do I see that Seth has already signed off on Saya taking a vacation with her foster father?
It's not a vacation. It's a work trip.
Yeah. All right. I'll go to the stables.
Okay.
To go meet with Seth.
So I think you find Seth basically where we left him last episode, where he's like sitting on his desk looking at the layout board of the mechs, and he's got the magnet for Acheron in his hand.
Okay. I assume because of the way that our characters are with each other, I'm just going to walk into your office with a drink in hand.
Yeah, probably.
Seth, I hear you want to speak.
Ah, yes, Kyle Morgan. Come in. Have a seat.
I'll close the door behind me and take a seat.
First off,
Oh,
Well,
congratulations, by the way.
thank you. I've been trying to give the stable a direction.
I appreciate the fact that the face or the motto that you have been pushing is Clan Morgan doctrine.
I thought it only appropriate.
I agree. But I've been interrupting you. What can I do for you?
Yes. He like pushes the paperwork across the table for Saya's like release form or whatever. He's like, I've already approved this. I don't know what you wanted to do with it as her falconer.
Have you spoken to her about it?
Yes.
Does she seem interested in doing it?
As much as she seems interested in anything aside from her blooding.
So really just cockpit time good. Anything else waste.
Yes.
Okay. I'll reach over and sign it.
Okay.
This will give her some time and something faster. It'll give her some time to get more accustomed, especially given the mech that I will potentially be releasing to her for her blooding to either keep at the end of it or lose with her status.
And then Seth like unlocks the drawer, pulls out the little white noise generator, and presses the button to turn it on. And then he says, "We have some more serious matters to discuss."
The
Kyle
guitar
looks
strings
at-
bum 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 bum.
Kyle looks right at the white noise generator and then looks back at Seth and says, "Serious indeed."
Someone's freehand strumming the guitar right now, just to be clear. Or the soundtrack is in my mind.
I have learned that you and Ivan Asanko are still involved in some mafia business.
Before I answer your questions, and this
Yes.
isn't to say that I won't answer them, I want to establish two things first. Do you believe me when I tell you that I do not lie to you?
Yes.
And do you trust me?
Also, yes.
I am, with Ivan, still involved in the mafia.
To what end?
To save my family? To save you? To save the stable? Oh, and I told you when I showed you the glory that is jet skis, which we should do again at some point. My brother made a choice, and that choice set things in motion for the rest of my family. My sister and I, not entirely pleased with the choice, although the tactics we have chosen to take about it are drastically different. On the one hand, I'm trying to save my sister's life. If she continues down the path she's choosing, she's going to die. Just, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And given the sudden loss of their operation internal to control the stable, I was also expecting that retribution would be taken against Apex Dragons and, by extension, Clan Morgan. I have a question about clan culture.
Go ahead.
In the clans, I know, especially in the time that I spent with you, the clans are fairly straightforward.
Yes.
Leaders make a decision. If it's disagreed with, there's a trial agreement. There's a trial for that, and but otherwise, even if it's been abused tactically, or even if it is sometimes to a fault, you are fairly open. Is there any element in clan culture that operates on discretion?
Discretion the way that you would describe it here in the inner sphere? Very few. The Watch, perhaps, is one of the only ones that... but that is not to say that there are not wheels within wheels among the clans.
This is the position I find myself in. In the time that I have spent with you and we've grown closer together and been learning from each other, I have to admit, I came here as I originally came to Solaris for two reasons. One, because I had money and I wished to play. And two, because as much as it is strategic for me to present Ronan as being highly successful, the Mech Civil War saw that the company has been having some difficulties. But in the time that I have spent with you, I have grown as a person, and I hope that you understand that there are sacrifices that I'm making now and might have to make in the future to try to protect my family, us, and the stable of people that I've grown to respect in the time that I've been here.
So I have one question for you then.
Okay.
What is your end game of working with the Mafia?
I doubt it's realistic. I suspect that at some point I may ask you to do something very drastic, but I want to take their operation, ensure that it is profitable enough that they take no rage at us or my family or the stable, and place those profits somewhere where it does not affect us. I don't want our pilots being injured. I don't want them infiltrating our stable personnel. I don't want them dictating our actions and behaviors. I want to try to move that onto other stables as a larger operation affecting other people at the very least. And then to try to find a way to divorce myself from it. I think more realistically, I don't think they will allow me to leave. I think my two ways to leave are going to present in one of two ways. I'm either going to need to accumulate enough to be potentially damaging enough that they have to leave me alone and let me leave, or set things up to fall apart and ask you to kill me.
I would much prefer the former of those two outcomes.
Oh, believe me too. But I think that I think our time together has given me a different perspective on sacrifice than my father left me. Don't know if you know, but my father was a failed revolutionary in the Mech Civil War.
I did not.
Yes. Which I suppose brings to light a little bit of a difference, a little appreciation in the faith that I have in you when, well, the Dragoons are personally responsible for the death of my father.
I see. Well, my advice to you would be to gather what you can while you can, and to, as they say here, keep a low profile while you work on your plans to extract yourself from their operation.
I have to also, because I'm sure this is a natural follow-up question about Ivan. I don't know what to make of Ivan yet. I want to give him the opportunity and use my position as tentatively his boss right now. I have replaced Yuri. That operation is, for all purposes, mine now. To show him a way to leave and to, as his boss, provide him a path to do so, to give him a choice. I had a gun held to my head in a meeting with a woman that was otherwise pleasant. And the most notable thing to me that entire experience was how so far into that life Ivan is that the results almost didn't matter to him. I'm sure he would have preferred life over death, but he was perfectly prepared to die in that lifestyle that he'd grown up with. So as much as I would like to give him the chance, I think he is presented with his forthright information during our meeting, volunteering things that put his life at risk, I think there is potential to save him from that life. I don't know if it's enough, but I certainly want to try.
Or perhaps Ivan Asanko must die so that Amos Everett can live, or vice versa.
Maybe. In either case, I'm in a difficult position, and I accept that I will probably be doing this for some time in order to be able to get things settled in a way that will at least meet my minimum objectives. And I know that while I'm looking at this potential sacrifice, I have every faith that you will take care of my family. I understand that how my family is to me and how my family is to you as a member of Clan Morgan as it is a different type of relationship. But from what I've learned of you and the way that you honorably serve the Ghost Bears, I have every faith that you will do what you can.
I would.
I just hope it doesn't come to it. But know that if there's anything that I ask you to do in this, it would be to give a clean break that might involve my death. And if I'm going to choose to die, I suppose I would like it to be somebody that I at least like.
Well, in the meantime, it seems that you are the buffer between the stable and Nia Lakata.
Yes.
That is acceptable for me for now. You should know that Elizabeth is aware that you may have ties to the Mafia.
I see.
And obviously she knows Ivan does as well.
No, he's made that perfectly clear. The challenge is to try to present it that neither of us are anymore. I did mention during the Gladiator Hall that my brother was marrying into the family and that difficult choices had been made. I don't relish the idea of lying to her, but I also want to keep people in the stable safe.
With what has happened, I don't feel that they will be pursuing an internal angle any further.
As far as that operation is concerned, I run that operation. I decide that will not be so, and I have every intention of ensuring that there are no more plants.
Very good. I think that concludes everything I had for this conversation. And he reaches up and turns the white noise generator off and puts it away.
There's a bit of a pause where Kyle's just sort of swishing his drink around and thinking really pensively.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad to know that we both still believe that the members of Clan Morgan are honorable.
Indeed. I do have another question for you.
Of course.
It's about Saya. When I defeat her in her blooding, what are your plans?
You know, that's a complicated question.
And I guess a less likely outcome is when you defeat her after she has defeated me. What are your plans in either scenario?
Well, I suppose, correct me if I've misunderstood something. If, in the unlikely event, she manages to defeat you, she becomes a Jade Falcon warrior regardless of whether I win.
Correct.
In which case, she would likely be expected to return to the Jade Falcon?
Correct.
I suppose at that point I would try to facilitate sending her out. If that is the lifestyle that she has chosen, I understand it'll be a difficult one with the length of the true Satuki Yeet and some of the understanding I have about that, specifically how long that is given her age. She's not really choosing to have a whole lot of value within her own clan.
There's a possibility that she may not even be assigned to a frontline galaxy. She may be assigned to a second line or garrison cluster, given that her blooding and training have been so unique.
Yeah. I feel like I had an objective to try to broaden her horizon. I know the two of you disagree.
In the way most clan warriors do.
Yeah. But I think something that she has that I have failed to impart on her and have tried to is to show how you are a clan warrior, but now that you have spent your time here and broadened your horizons, you're more than just a clan warrior now. And I've tried to give her that opportunity. If she really, deep down to her bones, feels like fighting is what she wants in glory in battle, this is a great place to do it. But in order to do so, she would need to entertain not limiting herself to just the aspirations of a Jade Falcon warrior.
I agree.
I don't think I've successfully imparted that on her as much as I've tried. And that's where I'm concerned when I also agree. I think it is very likely you are going to defeat her in the blooding and deny her that right. How to help her move forward from that? I certainly don't want to send her back to Jade Falcon to go move boxes. She is talented. Not as much as she thinks she is, but she is talented.
I agree. I think when she is defeated, we should make a concerted effort to convince her to stay.
I agree. I'm just not sure how.
I'll see if I can think of something. You might also ask Ro to see if he has any opinions.
That's true. From what I understand, the results of the blooding, if she's defeated by her first opponent, it's not like a position where you can choose to take or send someone back with dishonor. It's just for her classification and, well, I suppose the dishonor of failing to gain that membership in the cast.
It is complicated and varies from clan to clan as to what the results of a failed blooding are.
Yeah.
In any case, that was all I had.
I see. I'll try to make sure that I have tried to establish that I have an office in the penthouse to try to make things less suspicious about the time I spend out. I feel like it might not be so bad considering I already spent a significant amount of time outside the stable previously. Well, partying, but
most of the gladiators here don't spend too much time in the stable. We all live off base now, as it were.
Yeah. Well, let me know if there's anything I can do to make your tenure as stable champion easier, and I look forward to continuing to try to make Clan Morgan great.
I agree.
Something we should think about at some point, as he's just sort of like offhanded. He's obviously a lot less stressed out now that the subject has changed.
Yeah.
How would it be appropriate for us to swell the ranks?
We could engage in trials, but I'm not sure how well that would work with the Inner Sphere warriors here on Solaris. Although they have honored the results of trials and declarations of Asorla and taking of bondsmen in the past. It's something probably to talk to someone who is a bit more familiar with Solaris customs than I.
Is there? I understand that there's the precedent to take bondsmen, but can people volunteer to become bondsmen?
There is a precedent for which trials are issued between clans or clan warriors in the thought. Harvest trials
hasn't happened yet. For another 6 years.
But that doesn't mean like that was the harvest trials was this on a grand scale. That
what you're discussing, oh honorable Seth, is the most dishonorable of actions. But okay,
that trials are issued with the perhaps not intent, but with the understanding that one side will be taking possession of everything set in the trial beforehand.
Oh,
I see.
Listen to this ghost bear talking about some snow raven ass shit. Okay.
And that you can issue a challenge in which that we could take gladiators as bondsmen.
Interesting. This is something we should look into. I think between the two of us, we're really learning the best of each other's cultures, and I think presenting that to others, well, it makes me feel a bit hopeful.
We will see what we can achieve. It's like, oh, that's a good one. He writes that down for the next motivational poster to go up.
Yeah, I think that's what Kyle has.
Okay.
As he leaves your office, Seth,
Yeah.
you receive a message from Nia Lakata
Yes.
asking if you would like her to solve your Solaris Civic Council problem, given your statement yesterday.
That's a good question.
Seth,
Not that it's been explicitly said.
I don't like
but
the
Kyle's
dark
trying to do the
cast.
same thing.
I don't like the dark cast. Immediately, 5 minutes later, they could solve some of my problems, though. That would be nice.
I mean, it hasn't been said, but Kyle's also trying to do the same thing.
They do technically owe me for
Even
nothing.
if you don't remember it, this is the moment where you're reminded.
Yeah. Well, and like, because that's one of the things. Like, Seth has no idea that he has a favor, like, with the mafia.
I believe they were explicit in their terminology to you.
I understand that, but Seth is like, I tried as hard as I could to win that battle.
No, maybe you don't understand the subterfuge way of these dark cast clan Solaris.
Yeah. I don't know if he would take her up on that.
All right, we'll discuss it in your next episode.
Yeah,
get out of here so we can do
on
Kyle's thing.
All right,
go. Just leave.
Take it easy, guys.
Just go.
Oh man, yeah, Kyle's playing a dangerous game. I guess for the audience, who is Kyle lying to? He's lying to some people.
What do you want to do?
Well, I guess I'll go meet Ro.
Ro is in the stable. He's taken up one of the like conference rooms for a meeting with you.
Okay.
Like scheduled it out.
Very fancy.
Not that fancy.
For him. I mean, he's meeting everybody else at a fishing dock. It's a step up.
So for you, he says, Kyle Morgan. Good, I was hoping to speak with you.
The pleasure is always Ro.
I think it would be no surprise to either of us to hear that Saya's training is almost complete.
It's what I understand.
Good. The issue I have to talk to you about is the nature of her trial of blooding.
Yes.
Traditionally, this trial is undertaken by the worst warriors. Her opponents would be old and weak, men and women in their 40s and 50s.
You speak of the melee before getting in the cockpit.
No, indeed I don't. I speak of those who she faces in the cockpit.
I see. This is not something I understood about Jade Falcon yet.
Warrior, this is not a Jade Falcon thing. It is of all of the clans.
This is rather interesting.
Warriors who had yet to receive the gift take. Warriors who had yet to prove themselves with honor to be anything more than, well, very simple. Those who could never rise above anything more than Star Captain level. Certainly we would never put a blood-named warrior like Omega Tanaga in a contest against a trainee. It would be suicide. There'd be absolutely no way. Then, there's little chance that Saya has the skill to become a Star Captain on her first run. What concerns me, however, is that Seth Ghostbear, despite the run of bad luck and his unusual choices in life, is a fairly skilled warrior of a young age and an excellent mech. I believe that he will in fact defeat her, and that this would not be my choice if the trial was conducted traditionally. When I began this process,
I would like for her to succeed and become a warrior. I also agree that comparing the two combatants, Seth's experience gives him a significant edge.
When I began this process, Seth was nowhere near as skilled as he is now. He has improved greatly, with considerable amounts of money thrown into his training. Also, nearly daily battles have sharpened his edge.
He has experience, dedication, and support of those who wish to see him succeed.
I think that it might be wise for you to reconsider training Saya here. I think if you want what's best for her, she should be sent back to the Jade Falcon. Your people call it the occupation zone.
What are the chances that she would be allowed to take a blooding there? I know
There is
that
no doubt in my mind that she would be immediately thrown into a blooding. Finding warriors of appropriate stature might be difficult on the Coreward side, but if she were sent out to the fringe and faced a provisional galaxy cluster or something like that, we could find some warriors who aren't as sharp. I know it's difficult to understand for someone like you, but we brought our best here. All of them. We don't bring Solama for the most part to the inner sphere, although that's changing in some regards. The clan Wolf certainly seems to enjoy their little freeborns as well. It should be said, there are something close to 10 trillion residents of the inner sphere. I think you can agree that that is quite a large number.
yes, with obviously for strategic reasons, we have no specific figures, but given the size of forces that were sent to invade the inner sphere, I can only estimate that the pool to pull those warriors from was a significantly smaller population.
The number of clansmen are less than 10 billion.
That is staggeringly significant.
As an administrator, even I can look at the inner sphere and realize that we have no capacity to control your people. It simply is impossible. If you were to obey clan ways, of course, and immediately surrender your arms and accept clan rule, that would be one thing, but the idea that we could conquer the inner sphere with what we have now is laughable. Already rebellions rise up on every world, especially in Smoke Jaguar territory. Saya could gain great glory and honor here. But if she's defeated by Seth, that is it. Her life is over. I've seen what happens to such warriors in the Jade Falcon clan. They are broken.
Let me ask you this question, bro. And understand, I think that we already have the understanding that some of the questions we ask are definitely rooted in ignorance and attempting to end it. If she were to return to the Jade Falcon occupation zone to undergo her blooding, would she be able to return here and fight spheroid pilots as a gladiator?
No. I think we both know why.
Yes. And if she were to choose to stay here instead...
I know, but you tell me. You tell me the reason why. I want to make sure that you know.
I think Kyle understands more about this than I do.
Sure.
But if she is integrated into the
Nope.
into the Tumen of the Jade
answer.
Falcon,
The answer is
no, I don't know.
Solaris is behind the two-kid truce line.
Oh, I mean, that's where I was getting to. If she was part of the regular army, she has to now obey the treaty.
Yes.
Well, right now she's sort of a roving captive.
I mean, in the eyes of the Lyric Commonwealth government and Comstar, she's a horribly lost orphan who clearly must be making up this Jade Falcon crap. And it's not just behind the truce line, by the way. Solaris is like pretty
super
close.
far away.
It's pretty close to Earth comparatively. Like, keeping clansmen close to Earth is not something anybody's going to agree to. So when she leaves, that's it. There's no coming back here. It's over for her. Jade Falcon life all the way. Yo ho. Sorry, Ro would never say, "You tell me," just to make sure.
Right.
That's me. Yeah. Because you were like, "I know," and I was like, "But do you really know?"
Well, Ro, I agree with your concerns. I agree with your estimations. I think, I don't know if it would be the clan way to do it, but I don't want to make this decision without speaking to her.
He abruptly stands up and leaves.
Man, that's a big choice. I guess I need to talk to Saya now.
Okay. You've made one critical mistake. You already signed off on Saya's vacation, and she is off to the mech races. You can call her on the phone, though. Yeah, you go to see Saya in her office in the stables, and there's an indication.
Did she bounce within 10 minutes of that signature?
Yeah. Coffee's still warm in her office. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Look, she's got to prepare. The first of the Solaris. There's 2 huge races this week in Solaris City itself, and the first one is tomorrow, so she's getting prepped for it.
Okay, so it is in the city.
Yep.
Okay, I'll make a note. Okay. I think I'm the last person who has not spoken with Elizabeth.
Then you have a message from her as well, asking you to come to her office.
I'll go see Elizabeth.
We'll see if Kyle snitches or not. Elizabeth says, Mr. Morgan, please sit down. I have several questions for you.
Well, I want to say that first that I'm glad that the vacation looks like it has done you some well. You've worked so
Thank
hard
you.
for us.
What's really important, though, is that we've managed to try to keep the stable from having any very serious issues lately.
Yes.
You know, speaking of issues, what can you tell me about what went down between Buck and Cosmo during that vacation? There were some unconfirmed reports of a physical altercation.
Well, as far as an altercation between Buck and Cosmo, I know there was a portion of the time that we were meeting as gladiators where Cosmo was not present. And I've heard rumors that while he wasn't in the room with the rest of us, there may or may not have been an altercation. But most of us were in a separate space.
Well, in that separate space, was there a loaded firearm brandished at any point or pointed from one gladiator to another?
So what is the I take it this addresses specific corporate policy for the stable?
I mean, if Amos is bringing loaded guns around, that's not great, but Seth holding a loaded firearm to Amos's head is grounds for immediate dismissal.
I see.
I mean, probably it's grounds for police action, right?
So it's not strictly against policy. I mean,
totally it's not strictly against.
No, hold on. I haven't finished my statement yet.
Okay.
So it's not strictly against policy. It's just not great to have weapons on grounds.
Yes.
Okay. So he'll answer with, there are a couple of us, especially after getting mugged, that have been carrying weapons. I'm sure there was a loaded firearm somewhere in the room.
I see. She's excited because this is the first she's heard of anybody confirm that particular point. And was it brandished at any point? Removed from a holster? Shown to anyone? Used in any way that might be inappropriate?
Well,
Assault?
I can tell you that nobody in the room removed their own weapon and presented it in a hostile manner towards another member of the stable.
Okay, just so you know, she's not an idiot, so she can work through the fact that you, a notoriously cagey person, rather than you present. Could you speak plainly, please, Kyle? This is not a public interview. This is a human resources. Did anyone hold a firearm to someone else's head?
Understanding that context is also very important to what's happening.
You know, why don't you explain to me contextually what happened then?
Well, knowing that there are a number of us who carry weapons, and at that, Kyle is just like in a non-threatening manner goes like this, and he has like this really shitty looking revolver now.
Yeah.
There was a lot of very heated discussion, a lot of reveals, a lot of information. Mr. Everett was very open about his background, and in order to show that he didn't want to be a threatening presence, he voluntarily disarmed himself to de-escalate a situation. So
now we know who had the gun.
And he was non-threatening about it, as far as I know, unless I'm also in trouble. I understand it's probably not a good look for me to have a revolver, but I really don't like getting jumped either.
What happened with the gun after that?
Amos put it on a table.
Yes, and after that?
We had a very heated conversation.
Was the gun involved in this heated conversation at any time?
I was present on the table. I'd say that's very present for the conversation. Was Amos's action with his firearm threatening? I don't think so. Was it
Kyle,
unsettling? Very.
is there anything that you aren't telling me that would violate our corporate policies? You will have to sign a sworn statement after you leave this meeting. Sorry, before you leave this meeting. So think very carefully about your answer. Just know, I will be asking all the other gladiators for their point of view. And perjuring yourself may be grounds for dismissal and legal action against you.
I understand that. And
you need me to go get a drink while you craft a story real quick?
Nope, because okay. Kyle's been very careful not to lie.
Yes, I know, but now she's backed you into a corner. Is there anything you haven't told her yet that would be grounds for dismissal under corporate policy?
Ooh.
That may not be the exact phrasing I used, but it was close enough that there's no wiggling out of this particular question in a binary sense. We'll have to get some more of that Kyle Morgan bullshit stream.
So really the part isn't necessarily that she asked that, because she's not a member of law enforcement. He can lie to her all he wants and it can't be taken to court. But if he signs a statement that could, depending on Solaris law, be used.
Yes.
So that's where he's caught up. When she said, you're going to need to sign this, that's where he was like, this just got a lot harder.
See, the thing is, nobody else mentioned the gun, I believe. So you're the first one to crack, and now she's like, oh, I'll be talking to everybody else after I talk to you. Just know that you don't know that no one else has no one has mentioned it to you.
That's where he's like, he doesn't know what anybody else said, but he's like, I'll tell you as much as I can up to the point of incriminating somebody. So
is that what you tell her? Is
no.
That okay?
No, I'm just that's Kyle's thinking. Is he's like, well, I mean, if I say that nothing happened, clearly it was very contested. Obviously something happened. It would be too suspicious to say that there was nothing. And he tried to defray a lot of that with like, we're like, all of us are armed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but the signed statement, and he is too corporate to underestimate a signed statement. Mm-hmm. So he'll, oh man. This is rough.
I finally got the infamous Kyle Morgan. It only took 45 episodes and the entire playtest, but I got him backed into a corner. Amazing. Incredible.
Oh man, no, this is totally a shitty answer, but it's the only one he can give. He'll take the incomplete statement and he'll like take the whatever. If she provide something for him to sign?
Yeah.
He'll slide it back across the table unsigned.
Uh-huh.
And he'll say, I hope you understand that I mean no offense by this, but there's a significant amount of legal weight in the definition of words. I might need to consult with a lawyer before answering that question. I want to ensure that only the very precise truth is presented.
Very well. I'll have our attorneys speak to your attorneys. We'll expect an answer within 7 days.
Well, I look forward to working with my lawyer and working with the stable lawyers.
Okay. As you leave the room, she begins pulling out the 5 other sworn statements from the other gladiators and calls legal as the door closes and the Godfather theme continues to play.
This is one of those great things. Like, there's a lot of stuff that we talk about in the channel, but this was not, nobody has coordinated anything with their conversations with Elizabeth.
Y'all are deep shit now. Now the lawyers are coming out, man. You were so close. Kyle Morgan just had to take one more step. He just had to lie like everybody else, but he couldn't do it. Oh, Kyle. Kyle. Y'all, this is how Elizabeth gets killed. This is how it happens.
Oh no. She's been such a sweetheart dealing with our bullshit for this whole game.
Rainey walked to her car. Amos Everett with a revolver walks past her, and it's done.
Oh man.
She says she's a threat to the gladiators. Okay. Anything else you want to do? Any other
plans to ruin
lies you want to dodge around?
Wow.
Man, you fucking Z'd the Nard twice, and everybody else just boosted through that course.
I mean, obviously that's the thing to do as a player, but that's not the Kyle thing to do.
Good.
Which is rough.
You really made this a coodle muddle. Thanks, Germany. That's a great word.
No, I think I've messed up enough things for quite right away.
Do you message Saya about the trial of blood right concerns?
I plan to, because it's still in the city, I plan to, after my match, go visit her.
Oh, perfect. Excellent.
I want to talk to her about it in person because it is a very important thing. And if she's in the city, then I'll just get driven over.
Good.
Time for tabletop. I'm sorry, team. I have to stay true to character. Spoon, when you watch this, I promise my lawyers will help you.
He's not going to catch the premiere tomorrow morning. It's going to be Acitar and Zonalar, maybe a little Gleamo in there. Dunamis, I think, might catch it, but Spoon won't get it until tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, whenever you watch this, my lawyers are here for you too. Oh boy. Okay.
You ready?
No, but let's do it.
William today is in flip-flops. It's hard to tell what kind of shirt or pants he's wearing because he has a big apron that says "Kiss the Chef," a chef's mushroom hat on, and is seated in his chair, legs crossed. Kyle Morgan, thank you for joining me once again on this show. Solaris Nights.
Well, William, it looks like even casuals for you looks fabulous.
Fantastic. What an excellent comment. And for you, your traditional business wear continues to impress.
Thank you.
What are your thoughts going into today's match? I think we both know that your opponent will be an unusual one for you.
Well, if it is an unusual opponent, then I look forward to learning something different.
This particular arena has not been used before. We've been planning it for a while, but now that the Solaris Civic Council has okayed its use following the heated summer, the ice floe has melted enough to allow this battlefield to finally be revealed. It is going to be colder than normal, and that is going to throw off heat curves. How do you plan to deal with that?
Well, I suppose my considerations for operating in colder environments are really just to be mindful of the effect that has on my opponent.
I see.
I tend to favor battle mechs that run very cool anyways. So this will prove to be, depending on what my opponent is piloting, possibly less of an advantage for me than it is for my opponent.
Now, it has been a while since Apex Dragons has had this level of success, but with 3 matches already this week and 3 overwhelming immediate victories, do you anticipate being able to not only follow in your fellow stablemates' footsteps, but also to exceed and excel?
Well, we have excellent gladiators in our stable, and I'm glad that they put on a showing commensurate to their skill. I can only hope that I can prove to be just as fortunate in this match.
Have any other dragons been named in Apex Dragons? You are, of course, in the marketing material, you've been revealed to be the Scrap Dragon. Are there any promo tips that you can give me as to the name of the other dragons? Do they need to earn it? Is this an advertising ploy?
Well, I suppose it would be natural first to speak of the fan dubbed title of Scrap Dragon. It was something that I earned, but I think a very important thing about titles like that is that it was provided by the fans. Investors got together and decided that they wanted to see something notable and exciting, and I did my best to deliver, and they decided that it was worthy of recognition and continued support. And I'm sure that in the future, more opportunities such as that will arise for other members of my stable, and I'm confident that they can rise to the occasion.
Well, fortunately, I know that you are traditionally very slippery on these questions, so I have prepared a special line just for you. Kyle, you are longtime partners with Seth Ghostbear, correct? Now, Seth of the Morgan clan.
Seth is a member of the Morgan clan, and we are stablemates and fellow gladiators.
Do you watch his matches?
I do. I watch the matches of all of my peers.
Would you say that you're a fan?
I think he's quite talented.
If you were to give him a dragon-based name, what would it be? As a fan.
That is a very interesting question, William, one that I had never really considered.
William stops to take a drink from what appears to be like a green limeish tall glass. You know, when I say green limeish, that's the liquid inside with a little umbrella coming out of it.
I would say that I would call him the Lion Dragon.
I'm just gonna let that one slide. Your protege, is that the right terminology to use on this this Saya?
She is an internee. She's an intern at the stable, and I have been assigned as her trainer.
My understanding is that she's entering into a mech race today and in 2 days through the city.
That is also my understanding.
Are you worried about her placement? There has been a lot of competition lately. Comstar has been coming out at the top end over the last few months. Specifically, the last 3 or 4 weeks, they've been unveiling a new mech racer, which has been hitting a top speed of 345.6 kilometers an hour, devouring the competition with almost a 20% boost over the next closest racer.
That sounds like some very impressive hardware. But I will say that I know that it's Phoenix Motorsports.
Yes.
They take racing very seriously. I know they take their hardware very seriously. And I know that given the time that Saya and I have spent together, I know that she is very dedicated to performing well and is talented.
Where do you think she'll finish?
I think that there are many that will doubt her who will be impressed with how well she places.
That was a good qualitative statement. How about a more quantitative one?
Well, I have to admit that considering that my expertise, the closest expertise that I have is, well, the battlefields here.
But you know her best. You know her mech abilities better than anybody.
I know her very well in the battlefield.
And given that knowledge, where would you rate her capabilities in a mech race? Could she be finishing in the top 20, bottom 20, middle of the pack?
I believe she has the potential to finish in the top 20.
So you think she can go all the way?
I think if she put her mind to it, she could choose to have a career in racing.
I'm sure she'll be glad to hear that. Kyle, let's talk about you. Your contemporaries have been launching merchandise lines left and right. Seth Ghostbear coming out with a surprising line of plushies that cover a wide range of fellow stablemates. Are we going to see anything like that from you anytime soon?
I think that you will find that there is going to be increased opportunities for fans to become better connected to Apex Dragons through things such as the line that Seth has launched. I think for me personally, one of the things that I have been working to do is working to enhance employment opportunities, specifically related to the mech activities that happen on Solaris. I've been working with some investors, including Racket and Gamble, to set up job placement, workshops, job fairs, in order to try to help stables, not just Apex Dragons, but other stables and even racing unit, anywhere that mechs are being operated in a capacity, sporting capacity, to get connected with the best people to support their operations.
Make your media roll here. According to my notes, that might be 2d6 plus corporate. Isn't that a shame? That's a thing you're good at.
Well, I've been lucky so far, but that's a 12.
Yeah, seems to work. Rumors of your job fairs begin spreading across the internet, or what passes for it. So maybe somebody will tell their neighbor tomorrow. They'll get it in the newspaper. Printed one, not something you view online.
And these are just like as an out of character aside, these are all set up where it's like the different places that are going to look for people to pick up pay a fee to show up to the fair, and then the people looking for jobs don't. So there's some money coming into the stable for setting these up.
Sure. Yeah, I know. Listen, I've been to a job fair before.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, it's probably more for the audience than for you.
All right, audience. He's out here explaining job fairs, corporate recruiting. My God. I remember talking to a Halliburton recruiter. That was a whole lifetime ago. Boy. All right. Anything else you'd like to say or do before your match, Kyle? He says, leaning forward, twinkling the kiss the chef apron.
No. If there's any further questions, I'd be more than glad to indulge. But otherwise, I think the audience is here to see me fight.
Your opponent is already on the glacier when you arrive and is singing something beautifully in Swedish. And as you begin your wingsuit drop towards your mech, he points up at the sky to you and says something again in Swedish, and then says, "I am the reincarnation of Harold Bloodaxe. I am a king and a conqueror. My only regret going into today's match is that it is not Hunter McGregor that I am fighting. Because if there's one thing that I am good at, it's conquering Scotland twice." Then he screams and slams his chest and draws a little bit of blood using his own axe and throws it into the ocean nearby, where it falls like 100 meters down into one of the crevices and hits the ice. Hits in place, the blood splatters everywhere. It looks cinematic as fuck. And they got like a little camera drone down there that catches the moment the axe hits the ice and chips, and the ice embeds itself. The blood is everywhere. Then it cuts over to your intro. Hopefully you can match Eric Bloodaxe.
I mean, I've got the fireworks going, the light show,
So
my
just the
theme
normal,
song of
just the usual.
Sandstorm.
Yeah.
I'm wingsuiting in. But I have.
It should be noted it is minus 50 degrees Celsius out here, so you're probably fucking freezing up.
Yeah,
up
I'm
in the
definitely.
sky.
I'm definitely not taking the long windy route down. I'm like, how fast can I approach this and not die?
You probably have. You like your suit probably doesn't just have thermal insulation. You probably have like warmers literally stuffed underneath your suit to keep you from dying on the way down.
And on the way down, I've got a banner that's like attached to me, so it's like waving behind, like they do behind planes.
Sure.
And on it, it says strength, family, patience, prosperity.
All right. Duty, courage, honor.
When I land, I'm very obviously cold as I just kind of give a quick wave while I'm taking things off and getting in to try to warm up. It's like, oh God, yep, I'm here.
So, as a result of the snowfall and the cold here, you have -2 heat build every round and +1 to all weapon attacks. So that's not physical attacks. Punching each other is really easy as normal, but firing anything at a distance will take a +1.
So it's almost impossible for me to generate heat.
Yeah, I'm fucking knock that fusion engine right out. Your opponent.
I mean, we did it last time. We took a whole torso off and I could generate less heat. So
Harold Bloodaxe is piloting an Axeman 2N with 2 LRMs, 3 medium lasers, a large pulse laser, and a hatchet. It's not a TSM mech. It's an XL fusion engine mech with case, so it doesn't super explode. But it is a mixed range fighter and has been painted and even Amos Everett style adorned. Like, it's actually wearing decorative Norse armor with like a fur mantle up top and a helm. As soon as it gets shot in any way, it's all going to explode off of the mech, right? But
right,
it looks good. It's almost like almost a Centurion in the way it looks. Let's get a look at that actual physical view of the mech. Look at that mech right there. Look at that.
It's a pretty sweet looking mech.
Yeah, it's less of a hatchet and more of a hammer, but
I mean, that fits the theme, I guess.
the edges of the hatchet are painted blood red with a dripping theme on them. Go with Eric Bloodaxe, the Bloodaxe King, also known as Eric Haraldson. All right, as you may have guessed, the sky is from the Free Rasselhag Republic, and thus he gets the Draconis Combine and Lyrina Commonwealth dice. Unfortunately, oh no, Rasselhag gets their own dice. All right, never mind. Well, we're gonna take that result of 7. I forgot.
I got a 9.
Okay, you get to pick the edge. So,
ooh, where do I want to come in?
The west side. You want to come in from the western gate. It's traditional.
I want to come in from the south.
South side. Okay. And we'll come in from the north. Oh boy, I actually need to turn on the tag thing so we know which way's back. I've been lazy about that lately because I haven't needed it.
That's your final answer?
Yes, it is. It was always going to be my final answer.
I will start here.
Very well. Roll that beautiful beam footage. Pull up his stats again real quick.
Oof.
Okay, that's got a 9.
I have a 7.
Okay. Go ahead, take a chance.
I move by not moving.
He also probably doesn't move. Let's 1, 2. 16 hexes, huh? How's that work for me? Yeah, okay. He doesn't move. Go ahead.
Okay.
Take your shot.
I'll fire. Oh, I need an ammo card.
Shall be so.
I will fire my large pulses and my LB10.
Sure.
So I'm a 3 pilot. I didn't move. You didn't move. And so that's 3. Long range gets me to 5. The pulses get me back down to 3.
You have sniper?
Yep.
Okay.
And then the targeting computer gets me to 2s.
Okay.
For the large pulses.
All
So
right.
I'll start with those. Well, okay, so center torso for 10.
That actually hit?
Yeah.
Okay. And okay. 3 just sounds a little low, but
Sniper and nobody moved. And pulse lasers and targeting computer. It's
all right.
it's pretty gross. And then another 10 damage to the center torso.
Okay.
The LB10
I mean, he's almost lost this battle already.
is going to be 3 for 5 for range. -1 for LB gets me to 4. Okay, it's a hit with a cluster of 7. Just 6 pellets.
Left arm for 1.
Yep, first one is left arm.
That's a hit.
Right arm for 1.
Sure.
Left arm for 1. Center torso for 1. Left torso for 1. Cockpit for 1.
Mm-hmm. Okay, he's still up. All right, he counterfires.
Sniper is great.
These are 15s, not 20s. They're catapults. That's the cool catapult that I used. Okay, 7 on a 15 is 9 missiles. First 5 hit your center torso.
Stand by. Let me put my armor back. Okay, run that by me again. 5 damage where?
I don't remember now. I already rerolled too. I think it was right torso
Sure.
and right leg.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Next one is 5 missiles hit head.
Okay. I'm going to use my glory.
Very well, make the roll.
I got a 7.
Partial credit, huh? So you either negate the head hit. Oh, you either negate a crit or pilot damage but gain a stress. So you still take the 5 damage. You don't take the pilot hit. But you do gain a point of stress as a result of doing this. What do you do? You know, fuck, I forgot to ask this question yesterday, I think. Or the last time I saw somebody use it. I think it must have been Gleemo, though. What do you do that's so glorious and legendary that it will echo throughout time?
So I see the missiles coming in, and I see that they're headed for the cockpit. And it's sort of a subconscious effort to brace for it. I end up still on the controls, and I take a step forward into the missiles and lean forward into it so I don't get rocked into all the equipment in the cockpit.
Rurouni Kenshin. Take a half step to increase your blade swing speed here. All right, 4 damage to the left leg, and that'll round out his turn. He took 20, so he is gonna need to make a PSR, which he will fail. He will spend a point of edge. and surrender at the end of the round.
Okay. That was unexpected.
I mean, you almost crack through his center torso and you hit him in the head.
Okay. I mean, I'm not going to argue with it.
Yeah, so like what I love is that you hit him and your pelts blow all, like, he's sitting there on the ice, right? And your lasers hit and his, some stuff catches fire, paper mache and stuff like that. Then your LBX hits him and the snow around is just whoosh by the force of the projectiles. All of the costuming on his mech is blown off. He stumbles back a hit as he takes a hit in the head. And he just surrenders immediately.
I'll say over open comms.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know if you'd like a match with Hunter. I might be able to set up an exhibition if you ask nicely.
I forgot to turn this on.
This is a Donovan Broadcasting Company news alert.
He immediately opens his comms and says, "The ice may have favored you today, but it will not favor you in the future. If you are going to face a rank battle, I will defend my title against you and prove that this long-range nonsense is not how I fight." He hefts the axe again and says, "I'll be seeing you in 2 weeks, Kyle Morgan."
I look forward to meeting you again.
Okay. He walks off the ice.
For the stat keepers, I have joined the first round of Combat Win Club.
Sure. It's a small club.
It is.
You are gonna need a 2-point repair, unfortunately.
Yes. Clan Tech Life.
Okay. After the battle, William has basically, well, I wouldn't say he's barely moved because you had to fly to the north side of the continent, wingsuit out, just spend 10 seconds fighting, fly back. All right, so he has a new drink that's been poured. And he says, "Kyle Morgan, another crushing victory."
I just think my opponent didn't have the time to really get into his own element. I'm sure that if we were in melee range, that axe would be deadly.
He seems to have secured a future match against you, and given what I know of him, it seems likely the Solaris Council will rule in his favor. How do you intend to battle with him on an arena that might favor close-range combat?
I think it would be an exciting test of my skills.
Any particular strategies you're hoping to employ?
Well, I like to stay evasive with my jump jets. I imagine that's no different in trying to avoid an axe.
Sure.
We'll see if mobility can protect me from the bite of the axe.
Okay. Anything else you want to add? Surprisingly short.
He'll plug the plushies and just be like, yeah, just it's been an interesting run so far, but keep an eye out for future limited edition runs.
Oh, and any comment on what's happening with Ronin Industries?
What in particular about Ronin?
The upcoming merger.
What
your brother is getting
as an
married.
Aside, yeah, as an aside, like I know he was getting married. Trying to make sure that I know. And I know that there was going to be a lot of cross-pollinating in the business portfolios, but I didn't know there was going to be an actual like paper done company merger with a titled company.
It's the first time you've heard of it.
Oh. Okay. The Ronin board of directors are very wise and are going to continue to make good choices, profitable choices, and choices that are good for our customers as well.
I see. I'm sure You've heard the market speculation that Comstar is beginning to sell warship-grade jump engines.
Yes.
Ronin is a part of Celasis Incorporated.
Yes.
Is there any discussion in the corporate line that you know of that Celasis may be getting involved in warship production?
Well, what I can say is that Celasis has a very long and established tradition of supporting jump ship operations and other spacecraft. Should it look to be profitable to get into warships, I'm sure that they're at least considering the profitability and the value that that may or may not provide to our valued customers.
Okay. The meeting ends.
Okay.
You get a message indicating that Saya definitely didn't finish first place because Comstar has once again taken first place in the mech races and has revealed that their key to victory is a new drone, human-piloted drone called the Celerity that they are preparing to mass market.
So they're not dealing with the restrictions of the biological component in motion.
Biological component still has to pilot it remotely, however.
Remotely, but they don't have to deal with the stresses of being in motion with the mech.
The Solaris Civics Council is currently meeting to determine a ruling on whether or not that is legal, or if they'll have to make it legal. More importantly, though, is that Comstar has indicated that to make the Celerity work, it had to invent a new type of fusion engine.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So she didn't make first. How well did she do?
I can't tell you that until her shrimp runs the mathematics and randomizes the results.
Okay.
However, you can call her after the race. Or you can during the week train her and finally complete her training, making her the Jade Falcon warrior she was always meant to be. Rule this galaxy side by side as Falconer and daughter. Or something close to it, I guess.
I did want to, after the match, go drive out to Phoenix and go visit Saya.
Sure. Saya seems happy to have participated in a race and gone quick, and seems to enjoy all the attention she gets here. Trace Billings nearby is looking like a cool racer guy. You know, he's standing alone as pit crews move around him, wearing his racing tracksuit and a hat, looking extremely photographable in the glinting sunlight.
I guess I'll go see Trace first.
All right. Trace holds a hand out for you to shake and says, "Mr. Morgan?"
"Mr. Billings, how did you do today?"
"How did I do? Well, I'll have to wait for the shrimp to tell me." "I'd say, given my past performance, it's indicative that I probably did very well, but I would hate to preclude the numerical calculator from running."
It seemed, and he'll just kind of look over in Saya's direction. "Looks like Saya had a great time today."
"Well, you know, she always loves being in mechs. It's kind of her thing, and you know, shooting's good and all, but she needs more time on the racetrack. I'd say she could stand to be better in that regard." "How is her training coming along, though? I understand she's got some sort of trial coming up. Does she need to present like a brief or something before a judge?"
No. In the time that she has spent as my intern, she has been dedicated, thorough, and has definitely shown a lot of promise. The trial itself is sort of I suppose to put it in the simplest terms, is sort of a combat trial to prove herself.
It's a mech trial.
Yes.
Oh.
She's not in any legal trouble.
Okay. I mean, I guess I didn't really understand. She says a lot of things, a lot of words. I don't really get all of them. Isorla, Giftake, Hejira. I just kind of nod along and, I listen, but it's hard to keep up.
Well, in order to try to give your daughter the best training that I can, I have put a lot of effort into trying to understand the meaning and context for a lot of the new language that I've encountered working with her.
He slaps you on the shoulder and says, look, it's good to try to understand the language, but it's also good to just try to understand her.
Of course.
Okay. Well, that explains why she's been so worried lately.
She worried about the trial?
She doesn't say it. Didn't show up on her face, but I can read between the lines. She's, I think it's a big thing for her people,
Culturally, it's very significant.
Sure, it's like becoming an adult, really.
Yeah. Well, if there's anyone that's going to see things between the lines, it's going to be her father.
Well, I think she calls me father, but that's one of those words she don't understand, just like I don't understand what she says.
Maybe. But language and custom aside, I have gotten no impression that you've been anything but your best.
Look around you. I am the best. If Comstar decided to put one of their little adepts in the cockpit, I'd show them a thing or two, but instead they have to hide behind their machines.
Yeah, it's the concept of somebody racing without actually being on the track doesn't seem like being a racer to me.
Well, the Solaris Civic Council upheld that bullshit and extended it to the arena as well. Can you believe that? All competitions on the planet of Solaris may have drones, as long as they are piloted by a human at some point. You could be looking at drone battle mechs soon. Be like that really super old TV show, Iron Man. 2, not 1 or 3.
Well, if that becomes the norm, I fight to be on the field. I certainly won't be droning.
I guess. All it takes is one guy with a ECM thinking of upgrading my mech with one of those things. Fuck with Comstar.
Oh, that sounds like a great time.
Yeah. Eat shit.
Got to show them that something has to be robust, not just new.
Yeah, exactly. What's robust? A human brain in the cockpit. Reaction time. Trained my whole life for this. Don't need religious zealots and corporate suits from Comstar ruining mech racing on Solaris. It may not get as much viewership everywhere else that mech, shooting like you do does, Mr. Morgan. But I gotta tell you, mech racing has an extremely long and illustrious history. And we have a fraction of your market share, but I'd say we've got twice your heart.
Oh, the people that I know who are fans of the races and fans of yours are some of the most passionate fans I have ever met.
Yeah, that's right. Tips his hat bill towards you.
I'll give him a nod and then I'll go find Saya.
Saya is talking to a young man. He's wearing 2 short shorts and a wife beater. He's got dark sunglasses on and a baseball cap that's backwards. She seems delighted to be talking to him, but when she sees you, she politely dismisses herself from that conversation after swapping numbers with him and heads over towards you.
Well, Saya, looks like you're having a good time.
Yeah, I probably did pretty well.
Oh, I was even asked on television how I thought you were going to do, and Of course. I said you were going to do well.
I saw. It's no big deal.
Well,
Of course,
might
I
not
was
be a
gonna
big
do
deal
well.
to you, but I believe it.
I was always probably going to do well. After all, I am Jade Falcon.
Must be a nice change of pace going from the mechs that I use to racing.
Yes.
Much more
A
your
lot
speed.
more skill involved in using those mechs.
Well, there's a different skill set required.
Mechs are mechs.
They are. Also built very different. Understanding those differences is a great tactical boon.
She absorbs your comment in the way that it was meant to be.
Okay. Let's is there somewhere here we can talk privately?
Of course. Gestures over to one of Phoenix Mech Sports. Many facilities around this arena.
No.
It's their home
Show me.
base. Yeah. Everything here looks like a new car lot. You know, expansive windows everywhere to show off all of the mechs that are either currently in use or being worked on. Cubicles for all of the office workers. Big conference tables. She takes you into one of those rooms and sits down. It's a little bit below room temperature in here, a little chilly, and she sits in one of the nice padded leather seats and creaks it back and says, "So, what is going on?"
Well, I have been speaking with Ro about your blooding. We have every intention of making good on that. But I wanted to talk to you about your blooding.
Yes.
How do you feel about the blooding? Not about it in general, but about you taking it.
I am prepared.
Have you spoken to Ro about your level of preparedness?
She glances somewhere else in the room before turning back to you and says, "I've spoken to Ro about many things."
I see. Ro has been telling me about some of the irregularities.
It is an unusual trial of blooding.
Do any of those unusual factors concern you?
I will defeat Seth Ghostbear.
Okay. Well, whether, I mean, depending on how far you make it, that's not what I'm asking about. More so, well, for one, there being one cadet. For two, your second opponent is freeborn. And it's being accomplished in the inner sphere and not in land owned by
A trial takes
the Jade
place
Falcon.
where a trial takes place, and Cale Pershaw has signed off on these irregularities. You may be a freeborn, but you have been recognized by Clan Jade Falcon.
Okay. I suppose I'm just concerned that I want to make sure that everything that happens is, well, considered adequate enough that you can be positioned well.
I want to tell you something right here before this conversation goes too much further. She has spent months watching you talk around points and not quite lie, giving evasive answers.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I've been able to bring that across well, but she started talking like you to some extent, and this conversation is the culmination of it. So for the audience's sake, she actually is slightly concerned that she may not win, but she would never tell Kyle that, and she will evade answering that question just like Kyle would. We already watched them do it at least once this episode.
Yeah.
So I interrupted you. Please continue, but just know you're not going to get a straight answer out of her at any point.
I wasn't expecting to.
Okay.
I mean, my objective for this conversation was to leave with her thinking about different things. I'm expecting her to not be candid with me. Not really.
Wow. I mean,
I
look,
I tried to present.
You know who would be candid? A fully trained Jade Falcon warrior, but not this mess who's been kicked around the inner sphere and trained by dishonorable Desgra entertainers. Only Seth had trained her. Maybe she would still be candid.
Maybe. I just want to make sure that that things are regular enough that, well, I sort of came to the conclusion that when you finish your blooding as a Jade Falcon warrior, you would leave. You would need to go back to your clan.
That is correct. I would need to receive any orders that the Khan would give me.
Which means that you would not be here to fight anymore.
Perhaps. I would not be the first mech warrior to be stationed here. Ezekiel Nova Cat, Vimy Diamond Shark, both have permission to be here. Not everybody is an outcast reject.
I just want to make sure that you can have the things that are important to you. And I understand that victory in combat is important to you. And this planet gives you an opportunity to fight constantly, which, given the truce and what I have learned about what that means, I feel like this is a great place for you to be.
You think I am prepared, Kwiaf?
I think you are prepared to fight gladiators.
You think I'm prepared to defeat Seth Ghostbear?
I think you have a chance to defeat Seth Ghostbear. I think your skills that you have shown me.
There's a frown there.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But as I think you have the skills to do it. Something to keep in mind, though. I think we can both agree that Seth is not the same clan warrior he was years ago. Correct?
What would you have me do to prepare? What strategy would give me an edge against him?
I think the most important thing to do is to ensure that while you have skill, you definitely have skill. And out of all the other interns, you are definitely the most talented. But I think something to be mindful of, and I don't know how it is in the clans, but in the sphere, younger spheroid warriors have a tendency to believe too much in skill and forget tactics. I would hate for you to make the same mistake that young spheroid pilots make.
How might I tactically defeat Seth Ghostbear?
Let's start with, what do you believe are Seth Ghostbear's strengths? Seth of Clan Morgan. What do you believe are Seth's strengths on the battlefield?
Technology.
His battle mech is larger than the one that you will be piloting in your blooding.
Genetic engineering.
Do you think this is an advantage over you?
No, but it is an advantage.
True. Let me rephrase the question. And I understand this is a difficult question to consider. What advantages on the battlefield does Seth have over you?
Mech size.
Yes, he does. And he is a specialist in his chosen weapon.
It is foolish to get attached to any one particular weapon. you could be reassigned a mech at any time, or the mission may call for a specific loadout. To attach yourself to a single weapon is not the choice of a warrior.
Now,
it is a choice of someone who is comfortable.
In a roving battlefield? Yes, absolutely, I agree. But it's important to be mindful of the battlefield you currently fight on. And in the field you will be fighting, he will be allowed to make that comfortable choice, which is a tactical advantage for him.
She pushes away from the table on the rollers of the seat as it swings around and her seat, until she finally stops facing you and says, I could use your mech. That would give me every advantage over him. Using a heavier mech would be traditional. She's looking at you as if she both does and doesn't want you to say yes. Deep confliction that's finally showing. The side of her that wants to pilot a new Jade Falcon, speedy, fast mech, and the other side that has her mentor coming to her and saying, well, he has a very clear advantage in size. Tactics is important.
Well, if we entertain this question, if you were to pilot my Marauder, which, while it does have clan technology in it, it is, to its bones, a spheroid mech. Although, I suppose if you look at the design and not the age of...
She hand gestures and says, the only thing that remains of it that is inner sphere is the frame itself. The electronics, perhaps. Everything else has been replaced with clan technology in every way, including the fusion engine, which has traditionally been the thing that determines whether a mech is or isn't.
That is a fair point.
Sorry. Trueborn Clan Warrior, she would say, is not. No contractions.
Well, let me pose you this question. You use my battle mech, and you defeat Seth of Clan Morgan. I am your second opponent.
You have several other mechs.
I do.
Including another heavy mech, which is the bracket with which you should be fighting me. It is your family's specialty mech, is it not? I would be honored to engage you in battle in the machine you are most comfortable with.
That is something that I should consider. If you were not piloting my mech, I have not made a decision, but if you were to pilot my mech, or if you were not to be piloting my mech, you would need to be cognizant of and have a plan to try to find a way to leverage your advantages against his comfortable use of clan PPC.
I would use my speed to dodge him.
Have you analyzed his statistics to prepare to do that?
Ro has prepared me some such nonsense, yes.
I see.
Numbers on a sheet of paper don't mean as much. The fall of the dice in practice does not matter anything when the bullet is real. All that matters is the moment.
That's true.
It is written in the remembrance, so of course it is true.
I have chosen, because it feels right to me, not to try to force my beliefs on you. Would not be right to do. And I have not tried to stand in the way of you becoming what you were born to be. But I want to remind you that while the inner sphere has some things that I would agree are unnecessary, the level of excess we have.
Yes.
Yeah, I can agree to that.
She gestures to the enormous conference room and leather padded seats all around you, filled with people buying and selling mechs. Racing mechs. Something that does not happen on the Clan Homeworld.
I would also point out that there is a level of determination and choice that exists here that doesn't exist in clan culture. And because of my belief in that choice, I have not forced you to be anything you don't want to be.
But
if you were to choose something different, or if when the bullet's in the air, something absolutely unforeseen and crazy happens, know that whatever happens during your blooding, whatever happens afterwards, and the choices that you make in this next week, I will do my best to support those choices. If you defeat Seth Ghostbear, defeat me or whomever, and want to go back to Jade Falcon Space, I will do my best to help you get back to Jade Falcon Space. If you choose to stay here and fight, I will do my best to support you as a gladiator or as a warrior that fights gladiators. I'm proud of the level of dedication that you have shown in our training. I think that the intensity of the training you have been willing to do with me has been more than any other intern. And while I will freely admit to you, because I have told you that I want us to be honest with each other, that I believed when you were assigned to me that this would be a very difficult relationship and that the training would be very difficult and probably ineffective given our differences. You have erased all of those concerns.
all right. So when you
Regardless of what happenings in your blooding, I want you to know that I'm proud of you.
the first time you said you were proud of her, she scooted all the way back into the seat and sat up straight, put her arms on the handrests. And then when you said it the second time, she said, "Of course, I am Jade Falcon." Just a slight smile. Very slight. Maybe it doesn't exist.
Kyle stands up. If in the end of the next few weeks, you don't want to have just been Jade Falcon, but want to go and continue to be Jade Falcon, I will help you. If you decide you want to be something else, something in between, I'm here. I believe in you, and I want you to have a good life.
Let us finish my training.
Yes.
I am ready.
Let us go to the field.
So you're doing live fire training again?
Yep. It's basically all we do, so.
Based on those results, Saya has the following stat line.
Oh, that's right. Let me get back to Discord. Wow, I have a lot of PMs I wasn't expecting to get during this episode. Okay.
Are you prepared to authorize the trial of blooding? So go ahead. It will happen in 1 month after your return from the mercenary mission.
I authorize the blooding.
Okay. I'm going to switch over back to the battle screen to update the news ticker.
Broadcasting company news alert.
After you authorize it, minutes later, Saya immediately calls a press conference challenging the individual warriors to battle, including Omega Jade Falcon.
Omega Jade Falcon.
Yeah. She says it with the smirkiest grin and ends the press conference saying, "I am Jade Falcon." And then mic drops. Dunk. while walking off the stage.
I mean, as far as Kyle's concerned, is this an obvious inflammatory statement, or does this stink of something he didn't know?
No, well, listen. Omega Tanaga's backstory has been sitting there for months, and literally no one has ever researched him or asked in any way what his deal is.
Okay,
He's even been like, let me stop and intimate that I have a dark and mysterious backstory. And everyone's just been like, oh god, he killed Sergey. Fuck this guy. We're just gonna mess him up real bad.
It's funny, like we've talked in the channel about our plans to do stuff with him later and just not done it yet.
Yes, he has a deeply involved backstory explaining a lot, but
I was also waiting to level up so I could try to have a one-on-one meeting. I had a sneaking suspicion.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me if I was wrong this whole time, that if I had asked to meet with him to talk, I would not have been worthy of his time and he wouldn't have agreed to it.
He would have agreed to it.
Really?
Yes.
That's super unexpected.
When you defeated Seth, you proved in clan-ish ways, you at least proved you were worthy of speaking with him directly.
Oh, wow.
He would have respected you slightly more than he respected Seth.
Total misestimation on my part.
Sure. Yeah, he originally estimated you to be a filthy, freeborn lucre warrior with no honor, but you so far upheld clan ways pretty well.
So I'm all of those, but with honor.
Look, you're the best freeborn spheroid that you could be, all right, in the eyes of Star Captain Omega Tanaga.
Well, now I feel really sad that I didn't talk. I didn't think it was an option. Oh man,
there's still an episode left.
Oh man,
could always make a research roll now or call him on the phone. He might be a little busy since he's in a press conference right now, but
we
could talk to him. We can have the conversation take place slightly in the future.
I would like to send a message asking to speak with him, and then of course, I mean, we've got 4 minutes, so that'll be next episode.
Yeah, it'll be next episode.
But I'll send a message saying that I wish to speak with him.
He accepts, and yet somehow you felt that he slammed each key down on the keyboard. As
I opened it up and all the keys popped off my keyboard.
F enter is the only message you got.
Okay.
Just so you know, your phone is off the hook for the rest of the day and probably for the next week, as everybody and everything is calling you to know about this secret Jade Falcon ritual that you are about to undertake on behalf of your protege. Now, my question for you is, so I can prepare for the future, tell me what mech you will allow her to have. Now, if you don't let her use your Marauder, she will absolutely use the Fire Falcon B, in which case she will be extremely fast and long range. Your mech, while not fast, is definitely long range, and she has piloted it many times.
Yes, I'm gonna have to think about that.
Good.
I was not at all expecting that.
The theme of The Godfather plays again as you sit in your office looking at whether or not she's going to absolutely shit stomp Seth with your mech or not.
Because part of it is like,
look,
yeah,
it's honestly, it's traditional for cadets to pilot a heavier and assault mech and face a medium, heavy, and assault. She is a crazy person, convinced that speed is everything, and someone finally said, have you considered tactics? Someone finally said something to her. She was about to hit the same thing PK did. Where literally no one talked to her.
It's like my objective for this conversation was to be like, was to try to get her to think about the fight instead of just running into his PPCs and dying.
Okay. Think, Saya, think.
Yeah. And the second thing was to plant the seed that that I would be there for her if something bad happened.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know whether or not it was received or not, but I've at least offered it.
Sure. You have set in motion auxiliary storyline B that I never thought we would get to, but had prepared for that eventuality.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. Spoon might be able to see it. Possible.
I might be able to predict it.
Yeah. Comment section might get it.
Okay. Man. I think the last thing I want to do is I want to deal with my criminal organization.
Sure.
How
do you want to do that?
Well, I want to, for one, make sure that while these job fairs are going on, that there is no attempt to re-infiltrate the stable through the job fairs.
There's no attempt to re-infiltrate the stable. They are mafia of their word.
Okay.
You're expected to clean things up on your end, and nobody else is going to mess with your operation.
I would also like to. I would also like to send a message to my sister.
It's been a while since we've heard from her. Sure. What are you saying?
Last episode, I got a very angry message.
Yeah.
So, I'd like to send her a message that says that I am
Jade Falcon. Got him.
I am raising Jade Falcon.
Got him.
I want to message her and say that ask that she hold off on her investigation temporarily. I have been making steps on Solaris to gather evidence for an investigation, but if she launches it too soon, I might not be able to get the evidence that she needs to succeed.
Okay.
And then, I guess I'll send a private message to each of the gladiators and give them like the address to the restaurant and say that I'll say that that Ivan has been very forthright in helping me figure out where the mafia has been operating from, so that we don't get into trouble with the mafia and we can avoid them attacking us.
I want you to imagine a map of Solaris. Okay. All green.
All green?
Yeah. You're looking for the areas where the mafia operates on this planet?
Oh, no. I'm just telling them that he's identified that one restaurant in neighborhood.
Oh, my God. If you go here, you might run into the mafia. It's the one place we know for sure that they are.
Right. And I'm just like, but I'm sending it like hey, in case anybody didn't pick up on it, we need to stay out of this neighborhood because they might attack us on sight.
Mm-hmm. No, they only attack you on sight if you're Seth Ghostbear and you aggressively show up and refuse to answer any questions and speak cryptically and look like you want to kill everyone there. But sure, you can warn everyone.
I mean, I sent it as a message to the other gladiators, like,
sure.
Not a safe zone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to, FYI for everyone, trying to make sure we're all looking out for each other, being a brother.
Yeah, I mean, it's got 3.5 comms on Yelp Star, but sure. Sorry, 3.5 HPGs on Yelp Star.
Well, actually, let me go to my list. I have a Dunamis list.
Oh, is that where you set up all the plot points you want to do and then forget half of them?
I mean, he puts them all on the list. That's the part I'm referring to. I'm remembering my list.
Doesn't get to them, though. That's the thing.
Oh, well, I guess I'm doing things a little different. I would like to go to my local Comstar office so I can try to send a message to Kale Pershaw.
Oh, my God. All right. Look, when you're like Kale Pershaw, they're like, yeah, where's he located? And you're like, he's located on Strana Mokti, Clan Homeworld, Clan Jade Falcon Lore Master. Your local Comstar adept is like, you're going to need to speak to my manager's manager, sir.
It's okay. I mean, let me speak to whoever I need to. I mean, I've already met Presenter Solaris.
Yeah, well, that's whose office you end up in 2 hours later.
Yeah.
Mr. Morgan, this is a very unusual request. We won't deny it. I have to tell you, the cost on your end will not be prohibitive. I think you already know that the clans will retransmit any message we give them at no cost, despite the great distances involved. That said, this is an unusual arrangement, and anything you send will need to be checked. The reply will also need to be checked. There will be no privacy involved in this arrangement.
Of course, given the relationship between us and the active clan occupation zones, I expect I would welcome protecting our interests and the interests of all the people.
Is there a particular reason you need to contact this individual?
It is about the welfare of somebody here on Solaris.
You are speaking of Saya.
I am.
Very well. I will personally dictate your message.
Understood. And my message is asking whether or not a blooding held here will be honored by Clan Jade Falcon. And if successful, I look forward to speaking with him about Sayo's future.
Okay. It's going to take several weeks to get an answer.
Right. And I expect it's going to be super crotchety. I mean, if his face is any indication, or his article.
His article is an accurate description of his actions. Rah, free births, rah, I hate everybody. Grr, I'm angry.
Yeah.
Somehow he's the greatest spy in all of clan history, but sure.
And he's getting a message from some
random
silly inner
free
sphere.
birth.
Yeah, who's introducing himself as Star Commander.
Oh my god. Man's about to use that metal facepaint to fry an egg off of from all the rage heat he's generating. All right, anything else? I don't want to rush you out the door, but we are at the end of time.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise I'll probably, like, after the unusual message is sent, I'll probably fart around and try to make conversation with the Presenter Solaris.
He is far, far too busy to make a casual conversation with you, unfortunately. He does need to run messaging operations for the most popular planet in the inner sphere.
Okay. Oh, so here's what I'll do. It'll be really short then.
Okay.
As part of our, like, thank you for your time. Time for me to leave your office. I'll make a comment that very clearly uses a direct quote from the Word of Blake.
Ooh, what's your game here?
I'm dropping that. I'm making it obvious that I have read the book.
I mean, it's one thing to... Well, okay, well, maybe not, because going Blakist here. All right, make a political statement roll.
That's entertainer? No, that's
political statement. Entertainment.
I got a 10.
You can reduce your stress by 1 and gain 1 point of glory. I mean, I'm gonna have you reduce your stress by 1. I don't think there's any glory from a private conversation with this guy.
No, probably not.
You've made the statement, and he says, so you follow the word of Blake, then. You've read the book. It
is a very compelling message.
I think you'll find that Comstar has divorced itself from the religious trappings. Secular and non-secular have been separated.
I've had some...
can put you in contact with several members of the Blakist churches if you would like here on Solaris, but the corporate entity Comstar has no contact with the Word of Blake except through our business exchanges in the Hyperpulse Generator network.
I see. Was this a recent change?
Yes, as recent as the massive falling out over the 6th of June event. It's only been about a month and a half, but there have been mass defections here and everywhere, actually.
That is... Well, that is interesting to hear. That's quite a change.
I've lost many of my colleagues. I do not begrudge you your faith, Mr. Morgan, but if you have come here for religious solace, I was never much of a believer in the message, only in transmitting the messages.
I understand.
I can provide you with the location of the churches, but nothing more. I wish you well.
Thank you very much for your time, Presenter Solaris.
He leaves you with a list of several local faith organizations formed around the Word of Blake, including its most popular and radical organization, the 6th of June.
Okay.
They believe that the Primus of Comstar, what was their name? The current Primus, Maury Chandelar, and Anastasius Vogt, the Presenter Marshal, killed the previous Primus after she initiated the Battle of Tukiad in order to punish her, and that they're like rogue heretics who are trying to take away the faith. After Primus Mori basically said, like, yeah, we're not going to do that faith-based stuff anymore. Like, everything that is based off is a lie. And look, the Presenter Marshal gave me this sick book with Blakist musings from Blake himself that explains that, oh yeah, we shouldn't do that religious stuff. The 6th of June was like, okay, look, obviously this dude shot the Primus in the head and he's trying to take over everything. We have to go, man. Like, we gotta get to someplace safe. Let's go to Mark territory. Let's get all of our followers together. Like, fuck these corporate assholes, right? Like, they're getting ready for a crusade the 6th of June.
Oh yeah, no, I know this. So that the angle here is that Kyle is, having heard about the tech that Comstar is pushing out, got a hold of the copy of the book and read it so that he could try to find an in with Comstar.
Yeah,
not because he's necessarily a believer, but now he's learning these things.
Well, it's definitely Comstar tech and not Word of Blake tech. So what you just did there was a massive misstep.
Well, I mean, I know that, but Kyle doesn't.
Okay, perfect. Great. This sounds like a man who wants an XXL fusion engine straight out of the Solarity's 15-ton engine block.
This is one of those moments where the jihad in the Word of Blake are probably the parts of the lore that I know the best, but Kyle knows nothing.
I hate the jihad, man. It's literally, I don't even know how you could say you know jihad lore. Jihad got no books. You didn't have anything, like, all of the jihad is like,
there's so much less to learn.
It's literally like, here's a source book, here's 5 memories of the jihad from after it happened. That's how they tell the story of the jihad. So fucking dumb. A terrible plan. It's literally like a 50-60 year stretch of time that's told in like 2 paragraphs at a time. Unbelievable. All right.
Not saying it was a great time period, just there's not a lot, and that was my introduction.
So is Kyle looking to unlock extra light fusion technology?
Kyle is a technophile. He's looking to get ins on any tech that he can get his hands on.
I see. Well, let me tell you about the XXXL fusion engine.
Oh, God. There's some bonkers stuff that came out of that era. And I don't say that entirely affectionately.
No. So for the folks at home, the XXL weighs 1/3 of a standard fusion engine, but it takes up twice as much space as an XL engine and is 5 times more expensive. So for the Solarity, almost all of the cost of the drone is in the engine. Everything else is like peanuts.
Yeah.
Given the fact that it literally has no armament, it's a reconnaissance vehicle. Or a racer. Yeah. Alright, anything else? We're like 15 minutes over time, but this is a big episode.
I
Telling
think that was my
Saya
list.
maybe she shouldn't pilot a tiny little mech. Now look, here's the winning strategy. You let Saya beat the shit out of Spoon in your Marauder, and then she just gets assigned the Fire Falcon B and just goes running around everywhere, looping people with the large pulse lasers. That is the winning strategy as far as I'm concerned, but no one ever brought it up to her.
But the thing that's interesting is like the different potential routes that blooding can take.
There are hidden routes you don't even know about yet.
I'm sure.
Alternative route B. We'll see if anyone can figure it out before it almost certainly happens at this point.
Oh, I have definitely pushed something.
Yeah. You have just set into motion events which cannot be stopped.
Okay. Well, I'm excited to meddle with things.
Great. Spoon out here is going, oh shit. Ooh.
See what's the
He's really hoping he gets those ERPPC headshots.
But yeah. I mean, we already talked about how I'm training Saya, not with Brody. And I have to double check my notes. I don't know if I leveled up. I was like, man, I'm going to level so slow.
What?
I'm just going to kind of keep half
How do
records
you
on
not
this.
know if you've leveled up or not? Oh my god.
Because I earned XP so slow. I was like, hey, it'll be a couple episodes, whatever.
Man, look, the lore masters finally are getting themselves back together. For the first time in like 2 months, they sat down, they had a meeting together, they watched some episodes. They came up with like their 5th iteration of the data sheets. I think they've spent more time working on the sheets than they have putting data in the sheets. But I say that with so much love and respect because they're donating their time. But yeah, like they're not going to catch up for a while. You're going to have to really figure out how much XP you have because I don't keep that record.
Yeah, because I either just leveled up or I'm 1 XP away. I know what I would. Right. I know if I leveled up, I'm going to become the nose everybody.
All right, figure it out before the next episode because it's going to be important.
Yeah.
For the folks at home, you should know that we've got several events coming up in regards to Solaris Nights. The first one is Thursday, the 22nd of July, will be the final Gladiator Hall of the season. It will be followed on the 24th by the Mercenary Mission, which will last about 7 hours and will be played speed chess style on a full Saturday. That will be followed the next week by the Trial of Saya, which I'll have to find a time where we can get Kane and Spoon in at the same time, while also practicing my Omega Tanaga villainous speech route. I mean, if she beats both of you, she then has to fight him. Could you imagine Star Captain Saya? Holy shit.
Her
arrogance
fighting
would be legendary.
Oh my god. She's it's medium heavy assault.
Yeah.
He
has a dire wolf that he has acquired during his time.
Yeah.
If only we knew what his real goal here was. If only someone knew his dramatic backstory and just why he's gladiatorialing. I
mean, I'm trying. I didn't know it was an option yet. I really didn't. I thought I mean, if I figured that since he saw Seth is so far beneath him.
Goal.
Yeah. So I just assumed that because he saw Seth is so far beneath him and I had Seth's rank that I would thus be that far beneath him. It's interesting.
We'll see. After that, the final 2, so that will trigger the last 6 episodes of Solaris Nights probably during the week after the Mercenary Mission. So the week of 26th of July will be the start of the final 6 episodes plus Saya's Trial of Blood Right. And then season 1 will end, and then we will time skip several years into the future, which has yet to be determined. I'm letting the gladiators chime in to where they're comfortable with and what storylines they're comfortable with. But yeah, there will be a hell of a lot more mech technologies on the table in the future. So you may want to start saving up your cash real quick. Or maybe Papa Grimdark James will show up, just buy everything. We also will be considering rules changes. Kane, Damiel, any final thoughts before we head out here?
No, I had a great time, and I hope everybody else is enjoying it.
I also hope they enjoy it, because I got to do some wild shit today. I was really hoping Eric Bloodaxe would be able to stand a little bit longer, but boy, immediately taking 20 points of center armor off of him put him in a bad spot.
I mean, I stood still for a reason. I was like, okay, he's got LRMs, but I have sniper, pulse lasers, and a targeting computer.
He doesn't have
I guarantee some easy damage in the beginning.
He is definitely an X fighter. You got the luck of the draw on the battlefield for this one. I would point out that most of the maps were going to be a lot bit more in his favor in terms of melee fights.
Yeah.
In ranked battles. All right, that's it. Have a good afternoon, and we'll see you guys. The next match is not stop for a while. It's next Wednesday, so it'll come out next Thursday, the 8th. You guys are gonna have to survive with 4 episodes this week, and then almost a full week until you get another one. Jeez, Spoon's gonna be crying to me all week. And, oh no, I didn't get my Solaris Nights. All right, that's it. I'm hitting the end now.